We're chasing comedy, working on jokes, working on bits, seeing what sticks, seeing what stinks. We're Brian and Dustin, and we're chasing comedy.
Are you in Aruba?
Yes.
You look like you're in Aruba.
Yes, I am.
You look red and comfortable. I like it.
Yeah. How's it going?
That's a good look for you. Red and comfortable. You're usually
Sorry,
white and angsty.
Sorry, I interrupted.
That's good.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry
We were
for the
talking about Holocaust paintings, something you know a lot about. So.
Yeah. It's big. Sounds like our first salvo into writing a bit.
Right. Yes. Holocaust painting. Always a good premise.
Holocaust. What is the deal with Holocaust paintings?
Where did you deal? So what have you guys been doing?
Who are these Nazis? Why are they doing this?
I just got off the Nateland Cruise. That was crazy. It was Nate, like all the openers and different podcasts, different things, different events. It was nuts, because usually it's like, Kiss will have a cruise, or, I've never seen a comedian do something like that, where it's like a heavy metal cruise where like all the fans come for that one thing. And so it was like all Nate's fans, like 2,500 of us or whatever. It was great. Mm-hmm. It was wild seeing somebody just, attracts such an audience. It's really unbelievable. When your best friend wins a Grammy and then has his own cruise, it's a lot. That's
fantastic. Now, and you did a show. I'm
I did like 15 shows. Yeah, it's great.
Wait, the Nateland Cruise, it's the same. Wait, how's that work? 15 shows on the Nateland Cruise?
We got a bunch of shows are going on at all times. There's just like shows from like noon on to like midnight. And there's just like, it's like a festival. It's like different shows with different venues and, like theaters and then like, little other event areas that they have on the boat. And you're just kind of constantly going in. There's like, fans coming up. It's fantastic. Yeah, it was cool. This is definitely, and Leah came with me, so that was her first cruise to just be a passenger. So we had a good time.
But all the shows weren't on the boat, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many seat theater is on the boat?
About a 3,000 seater.
3,000 seat theater on the boat.
Yeah.
It's just absurd. Like the idea of that is just mind boggling. I did a 300 seat theater. Where was it? It's on a boat, it's on a ship at sea, wait, go back, right? The Seahawks, I know obviously that's a silly analogy, but it's like a 3,000 seat theater on a boat is just like, if you're not a boat person or you don't do cruises, you just go, what?
Yeah. It's something.
Yeah,
these things are huge, and this one was small. It's probably the smallest ship I've ever been on, and a lot of comics are getting seasick, which is hilarious. Just dropping like flies, just because a lot of them was their first cruise, so they just couldn't handle the movement of the boat, and it was like pretty rocky seas, and I was on stage, and I was literally like doing this. I mean, on stage, and there were people they were sitting Indian style, like in the. On the floor because nobody wanted to sit on a folded chair. Afraid it would just like pop open and they just fall over or whatever. So it was like, there's a lot of dealing with that as you're on stage, just dealing with like the movement of the ship.
As someone who hasn't done ships, just the idea that there's a theater on the ship is already, you kind of like go, huh? Like you picture, there's a comedy club on the ship. It's like 200 seats. You know what I mean? Like, a 300 seat theater, like it's like doing an arena show or something.
You have to understand too, a lot of times on ships they're having aquabatic shows. They're doing like a full production of Grease. I mean, there's a lot of big production things that are happening. It's not all it's it's not for the comedians per se. It's these big productions and things. And so there's a lot of big stage shows that happen on ships. And I think that's the last cruise I was on, there's like 2 big theaters. Like they're just, they're just ready for all kinds of, entertainment stuff. Right. And so they just
you just don't picture seeing Hamilton at sea. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, they had hairspray. That was pretty good. They were good. They were, it's like probably the same. It's the same town. You would get the traveling, Book of Mormon or something like whatever the traveling version is. That's as good. You're going to get that quality. The one that's in LA or Minnesota or whatever. You're going to get that one. And those guys are pretty good. It's like not Broadway, but it's close. There's a lot of them. Good enough to be on Broadway. It's like comics. There's only so many spots. Yeah. It's like
I always wonder, what would be a good joke for that, where you saw, if you saw, Hamilton at sea, we didn't see it with, we didn't see it with,
this cast wasn't black because they didn't trust being on a ship with a bunch of white people. Hey.
Hello. No. I thought you were going to go with bad swimmers, the angle.
I think they've stepped it up. I think they can do everything you can do, Brian. They've stepped it up a lot in the past few years.
So I hear. So everything's getting diverse, right? But
Bad Bunny, huh?
Hey.
So the Super Bowl.
What is the guy's name from Hamilton?
I have no idea. Nobody does. This will take you 10 minutes to figure this out.
Oh, it's
M. Night Shyamalan. It's something like that.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, thank you. M. Night Shyamalan. I thought it was.
Lin-Manuel Seventh Sense. He did the movie Seventh Sense. Yeah, I don't know if you know.
Yes. No, but Lin-Manuel Miranda, that's the joke. Is I did Hamilton. I saw Hamilton on a cruise. It wasn't Lin-Manuel Miranda. It was, and then I don't know what the joke is. That's, it would be funny if it was. I don't know, somebody who's a Michael Phelps or something. But that probably wouldn't be funny because he's not an actor. But
talk about a swimmer.
Somebody who's a swimmer, because you're on a boat. So it was, that's a joke, but it's not that good a joke. I'm the first person to admit that that's not very good. But if you saw
I think this is kind of a joke. I thought it was funny. The last ship I was on, they had a musical version of Columbus. And I thought that was pretty funny, where it's just the idea that I would love to sing the Indian chorus on that one. Take our land, slaughter our people. Yeah. Take our land, slaughter our people.
Wow. Yeah. Let's all do the smallpox samba,
Smallpox after all. It's a smallpox after all.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Wow. I think
I just had the idea of that. They had a big ship that they brought out, on the stage and everything. That's the thing. I saw one. They had an airplane go over the audience. I mean, they put a lot of. There was the Wright brothers thing. Wow. They had the airplane fly over the audience.
Did I lose you guys?
I think Brian's frozen.
Oh boy.
I think we lost Brian.
Yeah, I was just looking to find some footage of Columbus the musical.
Yeah, Brian's frozen.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's back. He's back. Are you back? Yeah, you were frozen.
Yes, I'm back. There's nothing I can do about the Wi-Fi here. I hope it's good.
You're telling me. I had to dip out completely last time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're dealing with vacation.
So we were talking about the whatever. That
Columbus.
Would be funny.
So we're talking about Columbus the musical. I think Adam's trying to bring it up.
Columbus musical, smallpox, genocide.
I got some footage of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
I don't know if we can play video, can we? We can barely get Brian on.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear see what the AI is going to spit out.
Well, don't play something we're not going to be able to put up later.
We could give it a quick shot.
Okay.
It's it almost looks like it's a behind the scenes video, but it shows some footage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see it. I want to. Next time I'm on, I would want to actually go see it just because I think it's hilarious.
There's a Columbus. So wait.
I might protest in the middle of it as the one native.
No. What happened there?
Oh,
we almost had it.
That was quick, man. You do those. You're very quick with your videos, Adam.
I know. Very impressive.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
Yeah, I just lost it.
Yeah, it happens. We all lose it. All right, let's get into bits. I like it. Let's do it. Columbus bits.
Columbus bits.
I got a bit. I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I do this thing about the troops, and because I like to pander, and I'm trying to, I equate all the. I don't know if I've done this before. I equate all the branches of military with positions in football. And I've ever done this one where it's like, I think the Army is like the front line, and I don't have much of a joke for it. It's just pretty much, they're like the front line. And then the Air Force is kind of like the quarterback, bit of a diva, thinks they're better than everybody, launching the bombs. You got the linebackers are like the Marines. They're like these sociopaths, just want to kill you. And then you have like the safeties of the Navy protecting both sides. And you have the Coast Guard. It's kind of like the cheerleaders and, being silly about that. And then I go into being in Iraq and getting shot at and all that stuff. And so it's like, but to get to that part, I like setting it up like that, but I just need more jokes, like comparing like, a front line of a football team with the Army. Like what's like a funny thing,
well,
like, the Army's
okay,
like,
so let's analyze this. First of all, I think Marines should go first. I don't know why I think that, because they land on. You always think of the Marines as the first. You know what I mean? They land on Iwo Jima or something. You think of the Marines. It's not the Army. Okay. I know that sounds good, but put the Marines first, because the Marines are like the first in or whatever. And then you get then you get then next up. This is a tough one because it's not a funny analogy inherently. You have to make it funny. Whereas if we said like, that's like a figure skate. The Army is like a figure skating troop. And it's like a funny idea right off the bat. But football, you go, how is these two things like it? And it's like the idea. The jokes have to be really funny because the concept isn't, chuckle.
Well, the idea. I mean, football is originated from military, like this.
True. So that's how you get in.
Yeah.
Football came from the military, and I think that's true because if you look at it, the Marines are like the Marines are like the front line, whatever your thing is, And then I think you really got to get into the jokes really quick, like the cheerleaders are like the hookers in Nam, like like I don't even know, like something, the comfort women. I don't know. That's pretty cheesy, but I'm saying that we're trying to get into jokes really quickly, so it's like. And they're the doctors who are the medics, they're the medics, the coaches or the guys I love when the medics run on the field because there's a lot of injuries. I think you got to set up the metaphor really quickly. Like it's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of ground game going on. You're trying to get territory. You're trying to I mean, somebody's already done. I think I've heard something like this, but the whole, there is a true thing about the football is a military operation. Okay. Yeah. And then you got to have something like the CIA, which is like the coaching staff stealing signs from the other team, like this, right. You got the, inflate gate or deflate gate or whatever that is. And you got your CIA guys, which are the assistant coaches whose job is to steal the signals from the other team and get information and psyops, So there's stuff like that. That's kind of funny, I mean, we're getting there. It's kind of like, there's a lot of pieces here, but the CIA is like to overthrow the other regime. Their job is to undermine their confidence, like plant stories about the quarterback's wife with another guy. Like, I don't know. That's really cheap.
No, your brain's going all over the place. I love it. Yeah. I mean, if I'm just trying to get like I love that and I want to do that. I just think once I get if I get the positions and then I can go beyond the positions, and I love that. Right. I love because then you could just like nail all the positions. The Marines are like the linebackers, these like I don't know how to phrase that. I've been phrasing it just they're like crazy or just whatever, just taking people's heads off. But
right. What are the guys that who are the guys in the Navy? The Navy SEALs. That's another one you got to get in there. The Navy SEALs are like the linebackers, like the Navy SEAls. They're crazy. They're more. See, that's the thing. It's like the metaphor doesn't. The metaphor feels a bit. I mean, right off my ear, unless I'm hearing something, unless it's something's occurred to me that hasn't occurred yet. I hear the metaphor and I go, okay, but that's not inherently funny. That's not inherently funny. That's not inherently funny. They tell you did you get to those weird things? So how do we get to the weird things, but also by setting up the metaphor? Because you need to go, the offensive line, that's the Marines, okay? And then you go, okay, what's funny about the offensive linemen? They're big, they're beefy. That doesn't sound like the Marines. So the metaphor falls.
Well, that sounds like the Army. The reason I said Army is because they're kind of in the front and they march down the field protecting.
I get it. Infantry, then, you know what I mean?
Infantry,
I mean, you could say, you could say the infantry is like that. They're the guys that block to get you forward. Infantry is probably better than I know what you're trying to do with the Army is kind of that might work.
Because they yell out like, what branch, where's the Army and the hoorah.
Well, I think, I think what you should do, I think we should do it. Don't break up. Just say it's like a military operation. And then you just go scatterbrained all over the place. You just go, they're like the infantry, and then that's the CIA, the Joches. And then you just scatter, you go all over the place. Yeah. I think if you try to confine it to how the Navy is like the wide receivers, you're going to be like, maybe you can make that work. But I almost feel like any military stuff is like, they're the guys in the helicopters, they're the black op guys, they're the guys in Apocalypse Now, like they're flying above everybody else. They're faster, like the wide receivers are like the helicopter evac units. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff.
No. I see what you're saying. I can play with that. I just the idea of just kind of making it broader instead of, because the way I've been doing is basically it's more like a give it up for our troops and Army. Yeah, you guys like offensive line, quarterback, hey, Air Force, just, and then to get to the being shot at in a helicopter, and then how I had no weapons. I had a helmet and a microphone and dick jokes. What am I going to do if something goes down? And then I'm in this situation that they're rattling, bullets.
And you're throwing bombs. There's blitzes, there's bombs. You got to get every kind of like, reference in there. What are the other, run up the middle, screen, Statue of Liberty. I'm trying to think of plays where that would be fullback, run up the middle. What are they called? Some of these plays, sweep right.
I don't know.
Omaha.
I don't know if I want to make it that complex. It's really just, just trying to get, just if there's any funny things that would compare the two between like quarterback and Air Force. It's like, because that one, it's a diva. They think they're better than everybody, but they're throwing the bombs, like that's a bam, bam, bam. That usually gets a pretty good laugh. And then it's just like, and then the punch is basically just Coast Guard. Any Coast Guard here? Yeah, you guys are like the cheerleaders, or you're taking all the, drugs or whatever, just kind of doing that.
Yeah, the Coast Guard thing is funny. And the CIA is, if you do something with the CIA, is the coaches. They soften up the opposition. They probe for weakness. They watch video. I don't know, whatever. They overthrow the other regime. They plant stories about the guys, the right tackle's girlfriend. Some right, psyops. They're doing psyops. It's such a weird. I know it's weird.
I think it's, if I go down your route, I feel like I might get lost, but at the same time, I think maybe there is some jokes. I love the assistant coach. It's like the CIA trying to get information in the other side,
getting information, spying on the other team, trying to get information
on the other team. That kind of thing. So I like that as an add-on, and then just kind of take it. The way I've been doing it, it's not supposed to get really a laugh. It's more like a celebration of these like veterans. And then I said, one time this happened to me when I was in Iraq. And then, we were in a war zone. They were shooting at the helicopter. I did this whole thing and, about a young pilot and all this stuff. And so, I just, it's kind of one of those things where it's not a hard funny. I know. That's why I was just trying to see if there was any additional, like, punches that might be, in that realm of like, different.
I wish there was like a war movie metaphor. You could go like Saving Ryan Leaf or something, Saving Rex Ryan, Saving Private Ryan, like what I mean, like something like that you could do.
And then it's also you have to be careful with this kind of thing, because it's like you don't want to tread on too much of mocking the military, because they're very like, you're crazy about that. So it's like it's this weird kind of thing that I just do that it just, I don't know, it just kind of like lets them know that I'm not just some hippie that I, done stuff for the military. And so it's more about that. It's like, I've done 13 USO tours and and I just kind of get into it, but yeah, it's a complicated one for sure. But
I mean, you could throw, and if you really, and all you'd have to do is throw a little sop thing where you say, and come on, football players and the military. I think this, once again, it's like the stakes are a little higher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, a red flag. Oh, like they throw a flag. That's like,
but there's no flags. There's no flags on field in the military. Yeah, there's no there's no instant replay. Did that guy pull his gun on me? Or something like that.
or something. I don't know. Did
that guy have a stick of dynamite in his hand?
Let's go to the officiating headquarters and see if that sneak attack was legal. I don't know, like it's the offsides, sneak attack. Check the videotape. Something. There's something. There's something there. Once again, like I said.
No, it's a complicated one. It's just, it's because it's, like I said, I'm not looking for huge, like it doesn't have to be this perfect bit. It's just more about this thing the whole thing is me to get into the story getting shot at, but I don't want to and also it's like these cruise ships too. You're just like, once you say I've done USO tours and give it up for the troops, then they're on your side. So it's more of kind of like because a lot of them are old people. So you're just like, a lot of my material, they're just like, what? And so it's like, when I do this particular chunk, then I'm more likable to them because, I'm showing them that, hey, in the military, you guys are awesome,
right.
But whatever.
Right,
I think it's kind of one of those bits that just,
it's got something.
Yeah, well, it's been working. It's just like I just can't. I don't have like the Navy. I think there's got to be a funnier thing about the Navy because we're on a ship, and so it's just like, who's in the Navy? So to think of somebody like, hey, he was in the Navy and then he's back on a ship. I don't know if there's a funny joke there to with the audience or whatever, because there's something funny about that where it's just like, we're looking to you if anything goes down, if there's Somali pirates or whatever. I don't know, just some sort of like reference to the Navy being back on the ship where it's like, you can't get enough of this, or, well, this is a little bit better when you did it, huh? You just had like, 1,000 dudes, and so now it's like, you got a buffet, now you got a buffet.
So you didn't get an omelet station on your.
Yeah, I bet you didn't have an omelet station on you when you were in the Navy.
Yeah. When you were landing at Iwo Jima, did you? I don't think you had an omelet station, right?
Yeah, that's funny. Omelet station. That's great.
Omelet station's funny. Although Gary Goldman has an omelet station joke, but it has nothing to do with this. I mean, it's such a great reference. What's the other one that's on a buffet? It's an omelet station, and then there's
an omelet station. There's a pasta station. There's a stir fry station. There's a
pasta. Is it called pasta station?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. You didn't get a pasta station when you were like fight for this country.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I mean, we didn't get a pasta station.
It's a bit of an upgrade, huh? That's funny. Like, it's a bit of an upgrade, isn't it?
And bit of an upgrade. Right? Yeah. I mean, you didn't get
a pasta station and a water slide.
Right. Yeah. Gnocchi. You didn't get. You guys didn't get gnocchi with pesto sauce options. With the options of ragu sauce or whatever the hell. Marinara. You want to hear? I don't know. Something about gnocchi is funny.
Because I could ask them, what ship were you on? And then they'll be like the U.S. Bush or whatever it is. Yeah. Exactly. U.S. Bush 23 or whatever. And then it'll be like, this is a bit of an upgrade. You didn't, you didn't have a pot, but you didn't have a pasta station and a water slide on that thing, and like that kind of thing.
Right.
I think that's funny. Like get this name of their ship and then be like, it's, this has this and this has that. I think that's funny.
That's funny. No, but if you go the route of like get the names of like some famous ships that are big, like Navy ships, because they're usually probably going to be kind of macho. The USS Farragut or whatever. The destroyer, and then get the name of some of the Princess cruise lines. I'm sure the ships have kind of dainty or less.
Now you're on the Celebrity.
Yeah. Something like that where you do.
Like the Emerald Princess.
Now you're on the Emerald Princess.
Yes, like that. You were on the. It's got to be. And then if it's an Emerald Princess, if you could nail the two-syllable. Not two-syllable, two-word name for the boat, like a boat of a famous, like what was the bomb they dropped on here? Enola Gay or Big Boy or something. There was another one, You go, yeah, you guys dropped the Enola Gay. Now you're on the Emerald Princess.
Yeah.
that the way that works is funny. Like, what was the big boy? What was the name of the ship? The Enola Gay was the bomb, but there was I think there was a name of a boat. Oh, this is
Well, I can't read that. What is it?
Yes, those are famous and historic Navy, U.S. Navy ships.
Oh, okay.
USS Constitution, the Missouri, the Arizona, the the Old Ironsides, the Constitution, and now you're on the Emerald Princess. I mean, it's it's such an easy joke. The Ronald Reagan, the Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Carl Vinson. I thought it was Carl Wilson,
Arizona,
one of the Beach Boys.
USS
Right? Yeah,
Constitution,
the Apalachicola, the Burlington. Yeah. That's kind of funny.
I like that. Yeah, that's funny.
Some of those. If you do that, then you guys were on the USS Farragut and the USS Appalachian. Now you're on the Emerald Princess.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
with an omelet and no tail gunner on that one, but you do have an omelet station. A pasta station. Reverse guns or whatever the hell, I forget what it is, but something like that. I love that.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, buddy. I think gives me a lot to work with.
Whew, yeah. All right. Good.
All right. What do you got?
I got the same stuff I'm always working on.
Nothing new. There's got to be something new in your brain.
These are all new. They're just, the way I work is I don't come up with a new bit. I come up with a bit and then improve the hell out of it until it's gold. And then it's a murderer's row. Like my Jim Jones bit is killing. You don't have to get cocky
about it. I was just saying, there's got to be an idea that comes up.
Okay. Well, I'll bring back another. Well, no, I'm not going to do that either. I can't do that. It was like another bit that I'm like, how does that work in my act?
Yeah, that's okay. We can have a rerun today. You help me with mine. I'll help you with your 4-year-old bit. Let's go.
Yeah. It's like a 40-year-old. You know what's troubling me? See, sometimes you and I work kind of differently. Like you have I got to do something with this. Okay. And then I'm not even looking for jokes. I'm looking for how do I get into this piece in a seamless way, right? That actually works. Like one of the things how do I deal with this? People don't know who Jim Jones is. Okay. And we've been over this. I know. But what do you say who Jim Jones is? How do I deal with the fact that no one knows who Jim Jones is? I know we've done lots of bits about this, but they don't work. So what am I supposed to not bring them on the show? Right?
No, that's fine. That's fine. We'll do Jim Jones again. That's cool. Part 6, Jim Jones.
I'm just saying, no, it's just, I say to the audience, I always wanted to be George Carlin. Now I have to be Jim Jones. And then the audience doesn't get it. And then I repeat it. And then I repeat it because they don't get it. And then I need to say something.
To explain who Jim Jones is. Like you have to do the explanation.
But in a way that's funny. Like Jim Jones, if you don't know, he's a very famous bartender in Guyana, right? Like that. That's almost funny. But it's like, a lot of people don't know Jim Jones is very sad because he used to have a lot of followers. He was a killer act. He had a big following. All of that is really good, but it's like I'm missing the one line that just goes from Jim Jones to the explanation of Jim Jones, which is if you don't know who Jim Jones is, not a lot of Jim Jones fans. Jim Jones was the first spokesman for Kool-Aid, right? Jim Jones
actually wasn't Kool-Aid.
I know it was a Flavor Aid. I know. I get into that later, right?
Okay.
I get into that later. But one joke I've been trying to get that doesn't work is that Jim Jones personally ruined the Kool-Aid brand. Why do you think the Kool-Aid guy? And then I get into the Flavor Aid thing later. But why do you think? Or they didn't even do it. Why do you think the Kool-Aid guy is so angry? He's crashing through walls and trying to get people. We already did this, right? We covered this.
Yes.
The whole thing where the Kool-Aid guy runs to the wall, we did it?
Yep. We did a bunch of
All right, moving on. Yeah, we did it. Right.
You want to do the wheel? Let's do the wheel. Let's do the wheel.
Yeah, let's do the wheel.
Well, I got a new computer, so I got to redo the wheel.
Oh, man.
Let's see.
Got to be on point, bro. So you don't think like something doesn't happen like in your day, and then you think, oh, I should write about that.
Lots of things happen during my day. It's just that they get less priority because the bit that I'm doing is one of these things that it's a monster and it's a crusher and it's just a mess. And yeah, so I go, yeah, there's a bit that something happened today that I'm trying to think like, oh, I got to write a bit about that. That would be a really funny bit. Yeah, I have stuff like that. And I should just bring that on the show.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been trying to do the entire time.
I know, but I got bogged down. Yeah. I know.
That's kind of the point of the show. Whereas, it's kind of we're chasing. I guess, we're chasing making one bit the best bit it can be, and then also, like stumbling through premises and trying to get something, some meat on the bone that's the way I look at the idea of what we do most of the time is just try. Something is funny, but how do we structure it and make it, a bit or material as opposed to just some random thing that,
Yes. And I do.
Because I feel like somebody like Bill Burr just, he has an idea and then he just grabs the microphone and his emotions take it where it needs to go. And I think that's, just everybody writes differently,
Right.
And when I write, that's how I write, not necessarily how I perform, but that's how I write, like that, where you're just like, all right, this is bothering me. And then just try to rant and riff as I'm writing it, as opposed to doing it that way on stage. So that's my writing process.
Well, here's one that I probably have already mentioned, but I say, I'm against racism. Not because I'm against racism. I just can't. No, I have no time for racism. Right? We've done this?
Probably.
Yes.
Just kidding.
I have no time for racism. And then which sometimes people clap about. It's not because I'm against racism. I just can't schedule it. Okay. I have a lot on my plate. And it's not that I'm not it's not that I'm not bigoted. I'm just busy. I don't know how racists do it. I don't know how they fit it in. That's a real time suck, which should be funny, but it isn't. Some of that is funny.
Yeah, because because the racism, they're busy, man. They're putting content on Twitter. They're just like they're going to rallies. They're hating somebody new every day. Like that's a time suck. It really is. Like something like that is funny. It's just like listing off all the things.
I know it's a lot of. It eats up a lot of your time. I don't. And that's the thing. I don't know how they do it. And people say, "Oh, we got to get rid of hate," and I'm like, "No, we don't. We don't need to get rid of hate. We need to get hobbies. That's what people need hobbies, so they don't have to. There's way too much free time on their hands. They're dedicating to this stuff. So people need hobbies. Like if everybody, have you ever, I don't know whether to hate the Jews or this group is like, take a pickleball or something, you know what I mean? Like something like that is.
Well, that's what I never understood. Like if you're into a football team, I mean, for the whole year, it's like, how do you have time for racism? It's like, you gotta complain about your coach. You gotta get over that loss. You gotta buy a new jersey, like, cause you hate that player.
The KKK guy must have a really good personal assistant. You know what I mean? Who does all that stuff? You know what I mean? Like, I gotta hate the
But this
Dominicans
is funny. Like the KKK is pretty much ultimately it was just a bunch of dudes that wanted to hang out and be away from their wives. I think in the beginning that's probably what it was. It was just a bunch of dudes that wanted to just get out of the house and just hang out with other dudes. And so then it became more than this thing. But I think ultimately every cult, every club, everything is always about just hanging out with other people. I mean, I was a Mormon. It was like everybody loved being like each other. Like it's this weird thing that we have as humans. We just want other people to get us. And so that's why, I think it starts that way and then becomes this other thing. But I think ultimately.
Well, that's a funny idea. The whole idea that you got the Boy Scouts, you got the like something where you name, there's like a famous book called Bowling Alone, where people used to join bowling leagues.
Yeah.
And that's like a really fascinating thing. Like no one remembers this, but there were bowling leagues, but you didn't you didn't join with your friends. You joined a bowling league, and you just got stuck with a group of people, like,
Yeah.
like,
Everything is
and that
like
was
that.
your team.
Yeah.
What's that?
Like who joins an Elks Lodge just because you want to join it? You join it so you can drink with somebody else in a goofy hat. Like that's all it is.
Elks Lodge is funny.
Just somebody with
Elks
a fez
Lodge.
on, and you can just talk about just nonsense. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Just VFW.
Elks Lodge is funny.
Yeah, Elks Lodge, Moose Lodge, any sort of like animal lodge is always a
Moose
hit.
Lodge is funny. Moose Lodge is funny.
Yeah, just
Moose
some sort of
Lodge.
like get away
What is
from
some of the
family.
lingo? What is the lingo for that? There's some other lingo for Elks Lodge. You have to.
You got to be like there's higher ups and there's all these like badges
pledges and you got to pledge the Moose Lodge.
Yeah, people just want trophies. They just want friends and they want alcohol and they want to be away from their families. Like something like there's just something inherent that most men that join these things, ultimately it's how racist are they? Probably pretty racist, but ultimately they just want a friend. A friend in a sheet, at the end of the day.
Right.
Something like the idea of that concept of just want to hang out and then it gets out of hand, It's just like in the beginning.
Yeah. Going in a totally different direction here, if I may.
Please.
I just thought of something else that it's sort of about clubby, but it's the Bad Bunny thing. The Bad Bunny thing I think is fascinating because everyone's mad at Bad Bunny, and nobody's talking about the fact that the guys who hired Bad Bunny are like all these really wealthy guys, and no one's yelling at them. They hired the guy.
Well, they're yelling at the NFL, which is basically that.
Right, but aren't those guys all like these are all right-wing patriotic?
I don't know. I don't know if Goodell is. I think he's pretty liberal. It seems to have done that. The Goodell, the guy that runs the NFL.
No. But he's the son. He's appointed by nobody. Nothing gets by the owners. Jerry Jones, Woody Johnson, that crew, Robert Kraft. Those are the money guys. Those are the guys that hire.
Yeah, but he makes the decision on the Super Bowl. I mean, he's in charge of the Super Bowl. He picks the talent. He does all that stuff.
No, I understand that, but my point being that he is elected by those people to make business decisions.
Yeah.
And hiring Bad Bunny is a brilliant business decision, okay? And they did it for that reason because that's a business decision. Obviously, that's going to get ratings, which it did. And all the controversy got ratings, and all of the and appealing to a world market to build the brand is a thing. Yeah. So when people freak out. I'm like sitting there going, isn't this good for your brand? Like it's the NFL is expanding and making more money. It's your product that you're exporting. Why is anyone mad? We don't want people. It's such a weird.
Don't you want people in Ecuador to buy jerseys? You know what I mean? Like that's
right. Exactly. That's what it's
they
about.
Probably make them, but you want them to buy.
The same people making the jersey. We don't want them to own them, right? Like we don't want to become fans. Like who wants an American business company, like if you're really one of these right-wing, or capitalist people, don't you want your corporation company to be profitable and to become bigger and more popular? It's surreal to me. I don't understand the whole.
I mean, it's just. I mean, also you're talking about a game that opens with the Star Spangled Banner and a flag comes out and and jets fly over. So what happens is they associate it with so much of that Americana stuff, and so that's where the outrage comes, where it's not in line with that thing that happens, the America's pastime, like all that stuff. So that's what happens. Everybody's just like, it should be country music. It should be flags. It should be military,
but I hate country music.
Well, there's about 400 billion people that love it. So it's like, I think that's the same with Bad Bunny. People hate Bad Bunny, but there's 40 billion that love it. So it's like, you're not going to win ever.
I find country music to be unlistenable. I don't think you listen
to good country music. I think that's your problem. I think you're listening to this crap.
I'm telling you that country music is a scam.
It's not a scam. It's folk music and blues. That's all it is.
It's no, you're talking
Bob
about
Dylan. Country. Bob Dylan's country to me. Like that's what it is.
That's
yes,
no,
it
that's
is.
that's
yes,
real.
It is.
That's real country music. That's
Woody
folk.
it's Woody Guthrie. It all comes from that. It all comes
Yes.
from that stuff.
Okay,
and some
but
of it
if you
still
can
is
draw a
that
straight
stuff.
line from
Some of
Woody
it still
Guthrie,
is. Yeah. Some of it still is that stuff. Charlie Crockett is great. Chris Stapleton's great. There's some Sturgill Simpson. There's guys that are still doing that. You're just
but you're not
just
naming. You're
associating
not
with that
naming.
crap.
What about Jason Aldean or whatever?
Okay, there's always that guy.
Okay, or Clint Black. Okay.
Okay, that's a dude. Well, there's also the Dixie Chicks and all that stuff. There's good stuff going on. The Chicks, sorry. They
no, but who's the woman like? There. Give me some of those like late '80s, '90s female.
Dolly Parton, Linda Ronstadt,
Shania Twain.
No, none of those people. I'm talking about the pop country stars.
Yeah, there's tons of them. I'm just saying there's also good music, and that is under the the banner of country. That's not bad music, is what I'm saying. There's just like there's bad rock, and there's bad pop, and there's bad hip hop, and there's it's like K-pop is probably the biggest music in the world. I can't listen to that stuff. It's like
right. I feel the same way about rap that I feel about country. I don't like it. I don't like that stuff. I don't listen to it.
There's good hip hop and there's good country. I'll tell you that right now. You ever heard Run the Jewels or anything? There's some good hip hop. It's just like
I know that there's plenty of good hip hop and there's stuff
I've heard that I've
People
don't like our comedy and it's fine. They'd rather have a guy juggle. I get it.
Those people are wrong. Those people are just not good.
But that's the beauty of art. It's subjective, and you could like what you want, and that's the problem with the world. People think just because you like it, everybody else should like it, and that's the dumbest thing ever because that's not how art works. I mean, I can look at a Jackson Pollock for an hour. Most people think that's all they say is my kid could do that, and they walk right past it. So it's like I get it. It's like everything is it's subjective.
Yeah, but I can't look at a Jackson Pollock. And I look at a Jackson Pollock and I go, this is fascinating because I cannot put my finger on why this is different from someone else who throws stuff at a wall. When I look at a Jackson Pollock, something about it is remarkable to me because I'm transfixed by it in a way that is inexplicable. Because you could have 20 guys basically throw stuff at a wall and you go, all right, that's not good. Wait a minute, that guy threw that thing at the wall and that's much better. I don't know why though. I can't put my finger on it. I like look at and I Jackson Pollock and go, wow, there's something about this really. But and I guess maybe you could have somebody throw paint at a wall and tell me it's a Jackson Pollock, and maybe I'll be duped into thinking it's that way. But most of the time when I look at a Jackson Pollock, I'm like, wow. There's something about that. But how is that possible? How is throwing paint at a wall by one person and me throwing it and having a chimp do it? And then you go, how is that art and how is that not? Well,
you get back because you go back to the artist. He was actually a classically trained artist. He could actually paint realistically, and so he knew shape, form, color, everything. So composition. So it's like it's not a monkey. It's a guy who's a trained artist. And so that's the difference. That's it. And you get more into his misery and his addictions and who he was. If you put it all in that, then it's like, then you can appreciate it more. But if you're just going in, you just see, nothing about Pollock, then that's how you're going to look at it. It's just splats. Okay. I want you to do a thing. This is what I want you to do, Brian. There's a guy called Stephen Wilson Jr. And I want you to listen to his version of Stand By Me. And you tell me that's not great music. And he is country all the way. And there's a lot of great country, and I'm just like you love yacht rock. I'm sure there's some good yacht rock out there.
Stephen Wilson Jr.
Last time we talked about music, we talked about Geese. You didn't know who they were, and then now they're. Have you heard of them now? The SNL thing and all that.
What's this?
Last time we talked about a band called Geese. And you hadn't heard of them, and then I don't know if you've heard of them now. They were on SNL. It was like a big controversy and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's a big controversy. People said they were horrible, but I didn't see it.
They weren't horrible. It was amazing. Yeah, and that's the thing. People. Okay. One thing I was thinking about as just an idea is it's just like I think we talked about this before. Where there was a time where your comments did not matter. Like if you wanted to hear about a movie or critique of something, there was like two dudes in a room that actually went to like film school. There was like somebody who took, art critique or whatever. Like they knew stuff before they commented. And then now it's just like the people that comment are just idiots all over the internet. And then somebody will read one guy's comment who lives with his mom, and it's like, and then they'll really just take that person's comment to heart, and then they just have nothing to do with the artist or the film or whatever because of one dumb comment.
But this is an age-old debate that's been raging forever. It's nothing new in the idea that if there are objective standards to art of any kind, is there? Like, is a great movie, is The Godfather a great movie? Or is it just because, well, you like it? I like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. You know what I mean? I think that's just as good as The Godfather. Is that true? Is there? And it's like, to me it is, or to somebody else, not to me, but...
we got into this one time, I think. I remember. And then it was just like I was saying, like Escape from LA was a good movie. We were saying something. If we went down this road before, but it's it's just dumb comments are kind of ruling the world right now. But
because people said this guy's funny and this guy isn't. Well, if Richard Pryor and George Carlin are generally regarded, and like Chappelle and great comics are generally regarded as great comics, then they're not. It was what you're saying, because there is nothing inherently great about what they're doing. There's just
and they don't have to be great. That's the thing. We're all entitled to this great. Who's the GOAT? Who's the best quarterback? Who's the best basketball player? Who's the best guitarist? Who cares? None of that matters. It's like it doesn't. The best actor doesn't win the Academy Award. The best guitarist doesn't get a Grammy and sell. It doesn't matter. You just like who you like.
But that's a different. You're talking about something.
It's too much competition. You can't put art in the same realm as sports, and that's what people do, or like some sort of competition.
Okay. I know what you're saying. I totally know what you're saying. What we're talking about is The Godfather a great film compared to something else? Forget about even your opinion. I can't watch The
Godfather. I think it's a great film. I'm not into it. I think it's a great, I just can't, I think I watched all three in a row when I was in college. And then the third one obviously is so bad, but some people might have liked it. I don't know.
Pick a generally regarded great film then in the name, like if you're not going to pick The Godfather.
Shawshank Redemption, pretty solid film.
Yeah. Okay, so pick Shawshank. It's like if you go, that's a great movie, but it's really not. If you go, well, that's because you. Did think
they tried to get Tom Cruise? That was their first choice, and then like he wouldn't do it or something, and then they ended up going, like 2 or 3 people they tried to get before they got to Robbins.
With Tim Robbins. Can
you imagine Tom Cruise in Shawshank?
Wow.
He definitely would have done his own stunts, especially in that shower scene. He'd
be doing. He'd be telling the war.
He's really taking it from those guys. Yeah, he's incredible. He does all his own stunts.
You're being obtuse. You can't handle obtuse, right?
He actually crawls out of the prison. You're like, wow.
Yeah. Like you can't handle obtuse. Well,
but I love the idea when it's like people like, you think of who would have been casted, I remember, and like Tom Selleck was supposed to be Indiana Jones and like all these, different people. Yeah. And then just the idea of like the movies would have just been completely different without, the person that actually got it.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson was originally supposed to be the Terminator.
Yes, that's right. And, Arnold had to kind of fight for it. Yeah. And then he had to kind of, because he got the whole robot thing where it's like, I think he had dinner with Cameron or whatever. And it's like, look, when he goes to, everything has to be robotic. Like he goes to grab his gun. He can't look at it. He's just got to grab it and load it without looking at it. Cause that's what a robot would do. And so, he had to explain the whole, and then he got the part, but I think it was between him and O.J. Simpson. I mean, it would probably been more killing if O.J. was, the star. But, like, what happened to the assistant director?
Actually, he has more. Yes, and O.J. does have more killing experience. Okay,
he brings more life experience to the role.
That's right. Who would have thought that O.J. would, in the end, be a better Terminator, a more effective Terminator than?
That's it.
There you go.
He was the
so in actuality.
Terminator.
O.J. turned out to be a more effective Terminator than maybe that's why he did it, because he wanted to finally prove himself.
Yeah. This is what I do. This is what I do.
O.J. Simpson. That's actually. I wonder if it's a joke there. A very simple joke. O.J. Simpson. was the first choice to be the Terminator. I think he must have stuck in his craw and he wanted to prove it, like or something like that. Like that, he definitely carried a lot of grudges for a lot of years about that. And in the end, I think he proved that he was a more effective Terminator. But let's be honest, right? right.
That's funny. That's funny.
I think the debate has been. I think we can close the debate on who's the GOAT of the Terminator franchise, right? Because what do we got? O.J. Simpson, 1, 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger slept with the nanny. You know what I mean? Not the criminal records. Not even close. Now
I don't know. He did kill California when he was the governor. So
yeah. Now you just reminded me. There was a bit that I thought of that I was gonna, and now I can't remember what it is. So great. Anyway, moving on. There was a thing. Oh, what is it? Oh, damn. I can't remember now. Oh, what's a great.
The lost bit.
Whoa.
That's why Seinfeld sleeps with a notebook by his bed.
Yeah, I do have a notebook, and I wrote it down, and I am now just going, oh, what would be? And now I'm looking it up. Talk amongst yourselves, everyone in our. Did you
find the wheel, Adam, or no? Are you able to get it up?
No, it's on my other computer. I got to figure out how to get it.
So this is a no wheel show. Got it. Got to let us know you got no wheel, because I come in hot for the wheel, and then what are we gonna do? You got no wheel.
We're gonna have
you could just give us a random topic. We could do that.
Yeah, give us a random topic.
Give us a random topic, Adam. Let's see what we can do with it. Give us three. Give us 3 topics, and we'll see which one we want to pick.
These were the ones that were on the new wheel that's being built.
All right.
All right. So we have. I'll give you. We got reinventing yourself.
Okay.
Overthinking texts.
Okay.
Accidentally joining a cult.
I did that.
Jim Jones. Jim Jones bit. Yeah.
Jim Jones, Mormons. We're already in on this.
And then misheard lyrics is another one that's on there.
Yeah, that's kind of a done premise. It's like Eddie Brill has a good one on that.
By the way, I got a hard out. I don't have much time left. I have a hard out here. I definitely.
Yeah, you got a massage, a little happy ending.
Let's do one. Yes, let's do one topic. What was the topic?
Text is kind of interesting. I feel like what was the text thing? What was that?
Overthinking texts.
Yeah. I feel like we live in a world now where it's just like we're mostly texting. So it's just like there's no, not seeing someone talk or hearing someone talk to you and then just reading the text is definitely a lot of like, kind of like stress and anxiety that I cause over nothing because somebody, didn't add an exclamation point or
there is something funny about
in there.
Yeah.
I want to put an emoji. We're always misreading everything because of some stupid, text, misspelled text, and I don't know. There's something interesting. When people don't text me back, I go into full panic. That's like this person hates me, they're ghosting me, and then because some people take like 2 days to respond, and then you just think, oh, that person, I guess they're out of my life, and you're just like, oh no, dude, they just have a life.
Something about ghosting. Yeah. What was ghosting like in the 1930s or 20s or 40s? Like what? How people
just moved. You just moved, I guess. You moved out of your town. That was the real ghosting. You just got a little handkerchief on a stick, and you got on a train.
Did anybody have that hobo outfit? Yeah, the hobo outfit was always funny.
It's like I'm ghosting everybody. See you later.
Yeah, Yeah.
Or you went to the army, or you just did. That was ghosting back then. Right. Signed up for the army. Yeah. You were a hobo. Something like that.
Ghosting. He's a ghost. He's
moved out of your house.
Moved away. Ghosting. Getting killed. Dying of dysentery. I'm trying to think of an angle on ghosting. I think
I've had people in my life before. Were just like we were friends, and there was something, and then they wouldn't talk to me, like when I'd see them in person. Like you could tell they were mad at me or something. It was like an instant, like not, ignoring me. I guess you just ignore people. Ignoring was, was kind of the ultimate ghost back in the day.
That's kind of funny. There's something funny about the idea that like I didn't get ghosted, or people didn't ghost each other. You would just, if you didn't like somebody, you gave them the silent treatment, the cold shoulder, the something like that, where but I don't really have a joke for it, but it's like, ghosting is like high tech, social shunning, shaming.
But I am for it in a lot of cases, because I remember having a lot of bad breakups, and there's a lot of yelling involved. There was a lot of like emotions, and then I remember I had my first breakup on my little Nokia flip phone, and I basically said, "I'm breaking up with you," and text on my thumbs. I thumbed her out. I can't do this anymore, and then I just blocked her number, and it was done. And it was the most amazing clean break that I ever had in my life with this crazy girl. And it was great. I didn't have to, get slapped or go have some crazy yelling or anything. Nothing crazy happened. It was just like, that was definitely, the cleanest break I ever had was a flip phone breakup.
That was the cleanest breakup you ever had, but not OJ. OJ had the cleanest breakup of all of them. That was real ghosting. Hello.
The ultimate Terminator. Hey. All right, that's our show.
Yeah, all right.
That's what we call a callback.
And that's how we do it. I do have to wrap this up, guys, but
that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing right now.
That's how we do.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm saying, all right, folks.
All right.
Well, folks, that's our show. It's time for us to go. Make sure to follow us, give us a like, drop us a comment, and always subscribe. We're Chasing Comedy on all the socials. We hope you had a gas, had some laughs, and maybe you learned something too. Until next time, we're Brian and Dustin, and we're chasing comedy.